Yes. He talk stuff to make your seeds walk. We here, we in it, we in the mix. I got my guy, Douglas Wren L.
Islam. Praise
Peace,
Allah for
peace.
love. There you go. Peace and love,
Hey,
Muslim. How are you doing?
I've been wanting to have this brother on the show for a while. He was on maybe about 2 years ago, and we chopped it up. We had a good episode, and I wanted him to come back, and I wanted him to tell a story because Doug Wren L, or I should say Doug Wren, you know what I'm saying? There's two different people. You know, that's why I call it the rebirth. You
Islam.
know, is a local legend, and not only a local legend, a national legend. You know, at one point, you know, arguably they say he was the best player to come out of the state of Washington. You know, I'll let him tell it though. You know, so anyways, before we get started and whatnot, you know, I want to encourage everyone to donate to Sea Talk. You know, Cash App, Logic Amen, Venmo at Logic Amen. I want y'all to share and comment. Please share and comment. And please engage brother Doug Wren L, you know, in this conversation because, you know, he's going to be engaging, answering our, you know, your questions and whatnot. So make sure that you're in the chat and whatnot and getting in there. You feel me? And let's just get it started. Why don't you go ahead and tell them where you grew up, you know, where you from in Seattle, where your family's from, and how did it all started? How did the legacy, the living legacy of Doug Wren L start?
Islam. Peace and love. Gratitude for that great introduction. Before I start, I want to give perfect praise and admiration to my Father God Allah, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, the mother of virtues and harmonies of life, the breeder of justice, mercy, love, and right. Want to give high honors to the forerunner to the prophet, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, that said, up, you mighty race, and accomplish what you will. His birthday was just the other day, so we'll be celebrating that this weekend. So peace and love to the mighty Muslim. Want to say also, give the highest of honors to our illustrious prophet, Noble Jew Ali, noble at birth, noble at skill, noble at will, the love dot manifest, the one that came to bring us out of, to redeem us from our sinful ways. Gratitude for that intro. I am GSD Wren Ill. The GS is Grand Sheik Douglas Wren Ill. Was appointed the Grand Sheik for the Moorish Science Temple America, Washington. We do the work. How can we start? Raised in Seattle, Washington. Went to Franklin High School. I'm gonna go back to my middle school. Went to Meany Middle School. So all those out there with Meany Middle School, peace and love to y'all. All my people out there, Franklin. Yeah, all my people out of Franklin High School, peace and love.
I used to teach at Meany Middle School.
Yeah. Peace and love to everybody at Meany, man. Peace and love to my people at Franklin High School. You know, I love y'all. Peace and love. I went to, and then I went to O'Day High School. Peace and love to my people at O'Day. Came up, I was raised in the Central District, but we want to say the Central District back then was hold on one second. Oh, my bad. The Central District back then was expanded all the way out to the South End. So I grew up all through that. So I'm a true Seattle baby, true Seattleite. Was born somewhere else, but I was raised in the town, 206 living. And forgive me, we're at Lim's Bookstore. So today's Friday. It's our holy day. So we're going to have Muslims coming in and out. So if we got a little bit in the background, forgive it. Once you come down to Lim's Bookstore, come check us out. That's a little unselfish plug.
Right. So you started off at Franklin, and then you went to O'Day. Now I went to O'Day. I wasn't an esteemed athlete like yourself. You know, I did play 3 sports, though. I lettered in all 3 of them. I played baseball, football, and tennis. I played football at O'Day. I played tennis at O'Day, and I played baseball at O'Day. But I ended up graduating from Ingram High School So I know the culture of O'Day High School, man. And I will,
Hmm.
to this day, to this O'Day, in all its racism and all its Catholicism, I will say Martin. I will say O'Day High School was the best education I got. It definitely prepared me from the University of Washington. And when I say education, it wasn't just what they were teaching me in a book. It was what I learned from the experience of going to an all-boys school, going to, a school where there's clergy as our teacher. We had mass on Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, and just learning from those experiences and learning from the resilience and whatnot. So how did you go from Franklin to O'Day?
Oh, funny story. Well, I had a coach, AAU coach that went to O'Day. And, I guess he saw a little bit something in me, saw that I'd probably be able to take the discipline of O'Day and thought it'd be a great school for me. But before that was at a camp with the O'Day High School coach, and he was helping running the camp. And so we were out there playing, and I want to say I was in 7th or 8th grade. I was in 8th grade, but playing against high school players. And he thought I was the best player in the court. So he thought I was in high school. And then when he's like, I'm in 8th grade, he was like, oh, we got to get you into the school. And so it didn't happen at my freshman year. Had to go out to Franklin. By my sophomore year, reapplied, took the entrance exam, everything was accepted. But was really accepted not on the premise of basketball, really more for academics and for music. Was going to go into the band and everything like that. Well, that's what they thought. But the basketball coach and a couple people knew. But like the administration was like, oh, kind of like, oh yeah, it's going to be academic and music, not so much sports.
Right. What instruments did you play in the band?
Oh, I played tenor sax.
You still get busy? I mean, because we two musicians, I get busy. I do the keyboards, the drum machines, and whatnot. I produce. So you still get on the sax, man?
No, I haven't done, not for a while. I miss it though. I miss it. Because, music is all around us, but, I miss being able to create music. So that was a good experience when I was younger.
So we gonna fast forward, you go to O'Day and you start playing ball there.
Yes.
And it became known pretty quickly that Doug Wren had a basketball thing. When did you realize that this basketball thing was going to take you places that other things in your life could never take you? It was going to get you out of your community, get you out of the stage that you in, and elevate you. When did you know?
Well, I'll say this. You never want it to take you away from something. You want it to take you to it. He's using it as an avenue. And I always wanted to build for my people, my community. I would say when I was around 13, 14, went to a basketball tournament, California. And it was like, okay, I'm like, I'm pretty good. Even though people around here would say otherwise, but it was like, okay, maybe I am pretty good without anybody. I don't really need anybody else to say it because I'm beating up on these guys. So if they're not going to admit it, I'm just going to, these guys down here in California are. So it was other coaches in California and where we go travel would be like, man, you're, would take me to the side and be like, keep on doing what you're doing, and then when I hit by the time my sophomore year came around, going into my sophomore year, I grew like 4 inches. So I went from like 6'1", 6'1.5" to like about almost like 6'6", 6'5.5", 6'6", something like that.
And so then what happened? I mean, so how did that become an intricate part in the O'Day, offense? You played and defense. You played for Coach Lumpkin, right, over there at O'Day. Yeah. So how did y'all do your sophomore, your junior, and senior year? How did that turn out?
Oh, well, sophomore year, what did we do? I think my record was, I know my record. I'm not going to front on you. 27-3. Everybody knows their record if they ever played anything. I know every game I ever played. I remember the game like it was yesterday. So my sophomore year, I believe we went 27-3, finished third in state. I think I was all state selection. I was all state selection, and I was a second team all league selections, which didn't make any sense. so knew something was off right then. My junior year, we went 29-0. I was all state selection, all metro selection, all area selection, player of the year, and state tournament MVP that year. So I hit the trifecta, whatever you want to call it. But I wasn't. But I did not win my league player of the year. So imagine that, player of the year of the state, but not player of the year of your league. Whatever. So.
And then what happened your senior year?
Senior year, I believe we lost 4 games. That was probably my worst year. We lost 4 games and finished 4th in state, and was all state, all metro, player of the year again. So I won player of the year again. Didn't win league player of the year, but won state player of the year again. And finished 4th in state. Yep, tough year.
So what was it about your game that made you so powerful, so strong? I mean, and made you such a top prospect for the University of Connecticut, UConn?
The 206, Seattle. Seattle made my game like that.
Exactly. So I mean, Seattle was known as an affluent, powerful, you know what I'm saying, basketball franchise. It's pretty much the dang near it's a farm league right now. I mean, it's a developmental league for the pros. I mean, so many people that came out of Seattle. I mean, we ain't got enough time to go through all the names and their accomplishments. You know, Jamal Crawford, Zach Levine, you know, Brendan Roy, Doug Christie. So what is it about your game? Because I know about the game. I want you to share it with them. Doug, I mean, was you dunking on fools? Was you had the shot? I mean, what was it?
I would say, look, my game was, when I say the real Seattle game, I'm talking about that real 80, 90, growing up in Seattle, growing up in, in the 80s drug wars and the 90s gang wars, made my game, to where it was, I'm just going to keep on coming at you. And so, but I had pride in having game, i.e. being able to shoot, pass, and dribble. Being able to play all 5 positions, being able to play positionless basketball, being able to take over the game whenever I needed to, whether that be by scoring or by defense. Being able to be an impact on the game, all around player. I feel like Seattle, different places are known for different things. New York people are known for their ball handling. DC has like if you go down to DC and you'll see ball handling, a little bit of.
Wait, man! You're breaking up a lot, bro. You're breaking up.
Oh, we had Lynn's bookstores. Forgive me. Let me see if I can fix that.
Okay, so you said New York was known for its ball handling, and then you said DC is known for.
Like it's ball handling, but kind of ones have game in DC, but they're like irky jerky. Like when I say irky jerky, they got it's kind of like their music. They had go-go music. It's like the real good players got that type of go-go in them. They got that. Midwest. You go to Chicago. They know how to grind. And Seattle, to me, Washington. Ones is all around players, offense, defense, can shoot, pass, dribble, really fundamentally sound. And if you have a good athlete that's like that, then you have a stud.
Yeah. That's what went into like Nate Robinson, you know what I'm saying, and his athleticism and his ability, to play and whatnot. Even Tony
Shout out to
Rowe.
Nate.
Yeah,
Shout out to Nate. Shout out to Tone Tone. Shout out to my brothers.
Yeah, man. I mean, we definitely come from a fraternity of hoopers, and not just the men either. Joyce Walker too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to Auntie. I was just with her. I just did a basketball camp with her yesterday.
Yep. Shout out to Sheila Lambert too.
Man, shout out to sis. Shout out to Sheila, man. Shout out to She.
I mean, like I said, we could keep going on and on. Seattle has a fraternity and sorority of men and women who get busy on the court. Now, so that made you a top prospect for UConn. And this is where the story gets a little controversial. We got the King James version of the story. We got the Douglas Wren, version of the story. We got the Douglas Wren L version of the story, and then we got the truth. You know what I'm saying? And with there's so many stories, and we're gonna try our best to get the real deal story, because I didn't heard so many things, and we didn't talk about this in detail, off site, off screen. But you get to UConn, there was a whole bunch of articles that were written about you, because like I said, you were a top prospect. They made you out to be this problem child. And so you get to UConn and everybody, collectively heard the rumors. Who knew about Doug said, oh, he was starting trouble on the campus. There was also a rumor you got kicked off the team because you got caught stealing some shoes. What happened, Doug Wren L? What happened when you got to UConn, top prospect? What happened?
Look, I say this. I don't think a lot of ones wouldn't understand that you're dealing in a multi-billion-dollar corporation. All right, so it's a multi-billion-dollar corporate setting, and you're coming there with $1,000 thoughts. So $1,000 thoughts, multi-billion-dollar corporation. $1,000 thoughts, multi-billion-dollar corporation. That's not feasible. They don't match up. I'll say this: I was ready on every front of level to play basketball at a high level. However, when you're going to different situations where, when I was at UConn, the coaches thought I was going to O'Day, that I was a young man that had, amenities, that I had access to things, that I had they thought I came from a 2-parent household, thought I had a stable home environment, so they made a lot of assumptions without actually talking to the young man. All right. So when you get out there, ones are thinking, ones are assuming you to act a certain way to certain instances, situations. And my act to those situations was I was going to, at that time, well, look, I'm about that. At that time, we were about that action, you can say. So if somebody were to say something, and it seemed like people were testing ones because of their status as a basketball player. So they would say things and try to do things, undermining things, not understanding that I have 2 hands and I'll use them. And so that was the situation out there for a lot of the times, and we got to understand we're in that West Coast, East Coast thing too. So I'm coming all the way from the West Coast, and the first thing a lot of ones thought I was a European. Doug Wren, they thought it was a European name, and they think Seattle was a grunge music and just grunge music and Europeans out here, hippies or whatnot. I don't know. And so they would I don't know. Because some of the things I hear about, oh man, you from Seattle, you from Washington. Oh, DC? Nah, Seattle. Oh man, that's grunge music and coffee, man. And so they automatically just assume that you're soft or something. All right. Then let's say we'll go to playing some basketball, you know, just on our free time. And then all of a sudden, you know, you do something and somebody might just start talking. And I'm all for talking, but then they'll try to get a little bit more physical. And then I'll be a little bit more, I'll out physical you. And then that's when stuff would happen. About the I can't believe you brought that up. That is so funny. The theft of shoes. That was the same instance of me being somewhere where the people didn't know me. I didn't know the people. However, the people, once they knew where I was going, what I was about to do, it seemed as if they were like, oh, almost to a want to try to put something on me. You know, I can tell you the story straight out. I remember like it was yesterday. I was in the store called Dick's Goods or Bob's store or something like that. I got a bunch of money. My surrogate father, Donald Smith, may sail on smoother seas. Peace and love to him. He sent me out some money. My AAU coach sent me out some money, and the people at the school, different boosters, gave me some money. So I had plenty of money. I was staying in an apartment, going to a prep school. All right. So that's the whole. So that's another backstory to that. So not going to say that. I let you say that. So you threw that out there. So look, now we can do some investigating journalism, and we can go ahead. So
no, I say that is because it fits into our narrative of they try to make you seem like you're a problem child. This is what they do with young black men a lot in the athletic spectrum. They're making all this money, and then why is the emphasis and the focus on you being a problem child, you being this, that, and the third? But you just now told me at least 3 instances where people were doing illegal things.
Yeah, well, look, I think that's going to get brought out because I'm engaging in creating a book, not for myself. It's going to be to help parents out and navigating them through these different situations that are going to arise when you have a son or daughter who is looked upon as a top level athlete. Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead. So you got the money. You had an apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got an apartment. Like, you know, we're supposed to be staying at the prep school now, but we're staying off campus at an apartment. All right, so I go this place to go get some shoes and go get some slacks or something like that for the prep school. A specific dress code. Going there, went shopping at another place, so I had bags there. So I put my bags with the people in the front. So that's the key thing. So that's the key thing that everybody should know. I had about $300 worth of clothes, and at that time, it's late 90s, I believe. That's a lot of money worth of clothes, and it's at the front. All right, go in there. I try on some shoes. I'm walking around with them on, and then I'm talking to some dude. He's about to leave, and I'm giving him my key, and I get rushed, and they're saying I'm attempting to try to steal something. I've never stolen anything in my life. So I'm like, the first thing I do, me being growing up in the Central, the first thing I do was I hit the man that tried to grab me. So I hit him and put him down. All right. First thing. So, yeah. So then we're going back and forth, and I'm like, oh, then they finally say, well, you trying to, I said, man, I ain't trying to steal nothing. And I pulled out all my money. I probably had like $2,000 on me. Like, why would I steal from you guys? You guys actually give us stuff, knowing that Bob's is a contractor with University of Connecticut. That's where we get all our stuff from, our shoes and gear from. And so they brought me back in there in the back, talking stuff to him. I'm talking. Look, I was talking real fresh to him because I'm thinking it's a bunch of people that obviously we're not on the same. And I already felt the tension and the jealousy. And so at that point, I'm now I was belittling them, who they are, what they're about, and everything else. So they end up arresting me. The police come. They don't want to arrest me, but they're saying they're pressing charges with, okay. So they take me down, and they take me down just to let me go. Let me go. Next thing you know, the next day it's on ESPN and everything. I'm like, wow. So that's when I understood that, okay, things are different. They knew I didn't do anything wrong. Police knew I didn't do anything wrong, but it was just for the show. And at that point, it was like, man, what am I getting I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, because I'm in literally, to me, I'm in a foreign land, way out in Connecticut. My family's in New York, but Connecticut's different from New York. You know, it's different from Connecticut. It's different from Pennsylvania. It's different from all those. So it's New England. So it's different. You know, you're dealing with the colonies in every sense of the word. So, you know, it was a learning experience, a big time learning experience. In that same instance, months later, we're going to a Timberland shop, and they're giving us free Timberlands and free stuff. And I get in trouble for that. So,
Would you get in trouble for? What happened?
Selling merchandise, selling tickets for merchandise.
Oh, okay.
You know, so mind you, now if the name, image, and likeness thing was around, it wouldn't even happen. You know, so it shows you how things have changed so much that those instances wouldn't even have happened if name, image, and likeness. Why? Because I wouldn't have been in this place illegally. You know, so then now the story would be about that, not about the fake stuff that happened, you know. So it's just different things.
Can you tip your screen down just a little? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's way better.
Shout out to Seattle Music is Real.
Hey, so real quick, man, shout out to the Kanaka Maoli people. That's what I got on right here. That's the native people of Hawaii, man. Shout out to the people out there who are being resilient and dealing with that catastrophe out there.
Peace and love to my pieces, man. Peace and love to our people out there. Peace and love.
Native Aboriginal people of the Maoli people of Hawaii. Real quick, so you talked a lot about, and I really want to get into this real quick. You talked about how people thought Seattle was soft, and we get that a lot. And they think that we ain't really got no black people here, and you know we don't have that many, but it's quality over quantity. And Seattle is a very unique city when it comes to black people, and I want to do a whole show that's dedicated to that: the Black and Tan, the Black Panther Party, just talking about the whole Chitlin circuit that used to come through here with the music. But it's a very, very it's a city that's very, very rich in black culture. And or you might say Moorish culture or copper.
I was waiting for you to say that. Gratitude for that, Monster. Gratitude for that, because I'm biting my lip right now when you say.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. You know, our melanin people. I mean, we can go so many different ways. Aboriginal people, but listen, talk about what gave you that edge, though, because I think that's a great segue into our next spot of the show when they call you a problem child. And I think it's because they didn't know what you went through, the hurt, the healing that created that anger, that gave you that edge, that gave you that chip on your shoulder. I'm putting words inside your mouth right now, but I would like you to explain it. Like, what did you go through? What did you endure? What did you overcome to get where you were? And then what gave you that edge, that drive, that I call it passion?
Well, I'll say this. One, not getting the benefit of the doubt and things. And so that was always a situation with me growing up. I think, but most importantly, the want to make people be quiet. Seattle is, so I'll say this about our beautiful city. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Classism is real out here, even amongst our people. Okay. So if our people think of you as lower to them, they're going to even try to put their children in position to do better than you, even though that you're better than them. And so I grew up with that, with grown-ups trying to place their children ahead of me because of their thought that they were better than me, not physically, not more talented, but they had more resources than I did at the time. Not understanding that my family actually comes from that type of background. However, like I said, through the 80s and 90s, there were a lot of changes with our families in those times. Systematically was done. And so me being a child, a latchkey child, what they called us back in the day, latchkey kid, being a child that grew up on the that was got my name Flight because we took all night flights. We out all night playing. You know, that motivated me. You know, wanted to be more. You know, I grew up in a place called Blood Alley. You know, we you know, all my cousins came up here from California. They were one of the first Crips to be banging out here on Cherry Street. You know, but I'm living in Blood Alley, and you know, and then I'm messing with all the gangster disciples, GDs. So it's just like when they came in, was going to their meetings at the Filipino Hall as a youngster, 10, 11 years old, because that was about group economics and groups, a group moving towards a betterment of our community. And then it got messed up. You know, with different things coming in to poison us, to poison our minds, to poison our thoughts, to take us away from the betterment of society. And so I always, growing up in that, you know, I always tell people, well, ones who really grew up in the streets and really had to grow up hungry at times, you know, if they get opportunity, they're not going to act gangster. All of a sudden, they're not going to start acting, you know, we have how they say I'm not going to, please don't take this out of context. They say some rappers, you know, they start rapping, all of a sudden they want to turn gangster, or some basketball players that get a little bit of money, some football players get a little bit of money, and now they want to turn gangster or hard. If you ever been from these streets, that ain't never going to happen. It's going to be quite the opposite. And so, you know, you just want to do better. So that was my thing. Just wanted to be better than everybody.
So would you say that you was affiliated with any street family or any gang, Crips, Bloods, BGDs? You mentioned all three of them. Were you affiliated with the BGDs, or did you claim it?
What does affiliation mean?
You had friends, you had relatives that were BGDs, and if they got into something, then you would probably get into it too, because you know you're affiliated with them. You know,
Islam. Well, look, we're never going to say anything that may incriminate us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, I'll speak for myself. Like, if there was any street family, that's why I call them street families. I don't call them gangs. If there's any street family that I was close to or affiliated, it would be the BGDs. Number one, because I like their philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't rooted in just violence and just like senseless behavior. It was rooted in like the whole thing, you know, with what Jeff Fort started, and you know, it actually had bylaws. It actually had a whole doctrine. You know what I'm saying? And a like a 10-point.
It was rooted in more science.
Yeah,
it was rooted. Rooted in more science.
So my homeboy, he didn't bang BGD. You know what I'm saying? But his homeboy did. So if he got into something, you know what I'm saying? You know, if his homeboy got into something, my homeboy would get into it. I'm not going to let anyone do anything to my homeboy. So it was like that. So that's what I kind of call like, you know,
there's peace in that.
That's loose affiliation for me. I would never call myself a BGD.
There's peace in that. Well, look, we'll say this. We'll say this, you know, because if look, we all about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Now we'll say that all is well in these streets. All is well. All has always been well for me in these streets. I get along with everybody. If you got red, blue, or black on you, you know you were messing with Renell or Ren at that time. You know, it was always love, so it was always good with me.
Yeah. So, I had to revisit some articles that were written about you.
That's fine.
And Coach George Karl, former coach of the Seattle Supersonics, took us to the NBA Finals against the Bulls in I think 96.
96.
And we lost 4-2. But I bring that up is because just let people know who don't know basketball, the legacy and how you were connected to this man. And he was one of several people that said that you were a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal basketball player, high IQ, athleticism, and all that. But he called you a jerk. You know, and a lot of people had stuff to say about your attitude. I guess, you know, they got wind of, you know, the fights that you were getting into, the misunderstanding with the shoes and whatnot. Talk about your relationship with Coach George Karl, and then talk about how it felt to be received as a jerk, and people just called you names and, you know, basically labeled you by your attitude without taking into consideration, you know, your upbringing and basically your story and how that influenced and impacted how you act.
Tough. Well, it's long. Praise the Lord for love. We'll say this. Dealing with George at that time, I'll say I was very flattered. I was extremely happy, felt blessed, felt worthy of it. Was a very good time for me, being able to have a professional basketball coach basically start an AAU program to showcase me and my talents, and to make sure, and it was mainly not even to showcase me and my talents, it was to showcase the players of Washington's talents, putting them with a top-rated player, and then have them out there and, you know, have coaches come and watch them also. So that was, you know, that was a whole effect of it. I was flattered by that. It was an enormous task, because it puts a lot on the player, because everybody knows that these coaches are really coming to watch you play, but you have to make sure that the guys around you are going to get their love, because they're great players in their own right. They just haven't had the looks. And I believe that was the first year where we had on that one team 7 or 8 players go Division I. First year, and that ever happened, where basically the whole team, the whole AU team, and subs got Division I scholarships and went on to play Division I basketball. So we started all that. Do I appreciate George for what he did? Yes.
What did he do? What did he do, Doug?
He started an AU program. Like, he funded us. He flew me all around. He, you know, brought me to his house, had his children come to my house, you know, met a whole bunch of different NBA players, was able to practice with the Sonics, was able to play against Sonics players, was able to start relationship with players like Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Eric Snow, you know, was able to get personal relationships with them, with coaches, Dwayne Casey, Tim Gergowich, you know, was able to get personal relationships with these men that I would never be able to be in contact with. So, you know, or I'd be in contact with them after college, not when I'm still in high school, you know. So that was the first of its kind. That wasn't happening at all. And so that started a trend. So I appreciate that. That was huge. Now, the optics of that now is, in this day, you have, I'll say, the European savior coming into the neighborhood, trying to, you know, get the young man and put him on a pedestal and put him out there for the world to see. All right. That's the, you know, it's like the typical quintessential Keanu Reeves movie. It's always saving the world. The situation with that is that, you know, as a man, you're supposed to protect the children, not supposed to, you're not supposed to enhance or promote negative attributes that are not even there. So you're making things up to try to fit a certain narrative that you are helping to prepare. So that was my situation with him, because you'll tell me something in behind closed doors in the private, but then you'll go in public and say something totally different. And that allows the public then to run with that. And now these people feel like they can say something to you. And I'll give a quick, for instance, and a peace and love to my brother, man, Kwame Brown. That's a great brother, what he does. But something like what Stephen A. Smith was doing to Kwame Brown, you have somebody who was not a good basketball player, he'll tell you himself. Stephen A. Smith will tell you himself. He was not good. In terms of going to college and going beyond that, he never showed any type of ability to go make money at anything, okay, to be called exceptional. But yet he's calling somebody who made history a bust, and making it now to his worth or his value is lessened by that. Okay. So he went on a whole street with that, which lessened the Kwame Brown brand in every sense of the word. Now you have a grown man doing the same thing, lessening my brand, but that's what they do before they draft you. What you mean? First thing they start doing is start critiquing you to what? To take away money. So before you're this, after when they're about to draft you, after when they're about to start to pay you money, all of a sudden, oh, he's got bad legs. Oh, his jumper's a little bit off. Oh, I'm not saying this thing about me. I'm just giving you different things. Oh, but the worst thing you can do, what they did to me, is say you have a bad attitude. You can't fix bad attitude. You can't fix what they call mental deficiencies. I can have deficiencies in my handle and my jump shot and my basketball IQ. But if I have deficiencies in my mental abilities to get along with people, to stay in line, it's a wrap. You're no good. So that was the thing, and that's what they do mostly to our people.
So what happened? Because it sounds like you guys was cool. He was bringing his kids over to your house. You were hanging out with them, and
hanging out with me.
Okay, yeah, the kids were hanging out with the kids.
Yeah, hanging out with me. Let's say that they're hanging out with me. I like that better.
Okay, and then what happened? Like, did y'all get into it? Why did he turn on you and call you a jerk?
Well, I think it was for publicity. I think it was for because in that same breath, right after I went to go talk to him and ask him why would he do that, he said, that's what the media does. I didn't say it like that. I would draft you right now. It's like, so what do you want me to do? You just said that I'm not. You just said that I'm not better than one of your 14th men on your team. But then between me and you, I played some of these members on the team one-on-one, and I beat them. So he knew I was better than the 14 man on his team. So it was funny. So I can't really call that. It seems like my battery, so I'm gonna have to hook up to another computer because it looked like this battery's about to go out. But I can't, I can't really call that, I can't, that's a hard thing to call. I can't tell you what he was thinking on that. I can tell you what he told me afterwards. And I can let you know how much pain, agony, how much of an uphill battle it was. And at that point, it was like, yeah, I'm probably never going to play professional basketball in the NBA. You kind of had to, because it was like, ooh. And then, things happened afterwards. It was like, oh, yeah, that ain't never going to happen. They can call me the best ever, but it's not going to happen. They're not going to want to give me millions of dollars. It's not going to happen.
That's a good way. That's a good segment, or a good segue for part 2. We can just enter right here and say that's when you knew that there was something going on. There was a plan, that you had nothing to do with it, which you probably didn't know at the time. planted the seed and created the opportunity for Doug Wren to go, transform, into Doug, Wren L. You know what I'm saying?
It's wrong. The transmutation.
Exactly.
So seeds were planted and the transmutation was forming, whether I knew it or not, it was forming, because one always wanted to transcend, not be a so-called Black African American. I wanted to be Douglas, and I wanted to be respected as Douglas Wren. Okay, period. Respect me. Love me for that.
So join us next time when we do a part 2. Join us next time with Douglas Wren L. You know what I'm saying? I'll see y'all next time. It's been Seed Talk, stuff to make your seeds walk. And then in part 2, we're going to get to the plan of action and what your homework is. We out.
There's a law.